Hello and welcome, Number Hunter 91 here, and bringing you my Salamangreat deck profile. I have added a few cards from my own collection into this profile, but the majority of the cards in it are from the free structure decks that I opened, where I opened one of them up in my last video. I'm going to jump straight into it. The majority of the cards in this deck are nice and easy to get hold of. If you buy 3 of the structure decks, you basically have the deck, which makes it nice and easy. So starting off, coming from the structure deck, we have 3 Salamangreat Gazelle. It special summons itself if a Salamangreat is sent to the graveyard, except itself and except during the damage step. And if it is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard. So it not only special summons itself, it then acts as a Foolish Burial Goods, which is quite nice. When I say Foolish Burial Goods, it's Foolish Burial / Foolish Burial Goods. Moving on, we have 3 Salamangreat Spiny, or Spinny. I prefer the name Spiny. It's not how it's meant to be said, but I prefer that name. If you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card, target 1 face-up monster on the field, and it gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. And if you control a Salamangreat monster other than itself, and this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And most of the Salamangreat cards have hard once per turn effects. Salamangreat Spinny is pretty decent at combo extending. Worst case scenario, use Gazelle, you can send this, special it back out, and that's your XEs, which is quite nice. Then we have the Pot of Duality of the deck, which is Salamangreat Foxy. Excavate the top 3 cards, and then if you want, you can add an excavated Salamangreat card to your hand and shuffle the rest back in. If it's in your graveyard and a face-up spell or trap card is on the field, you can discard 1 Salamangreat card, special summon this card, then you can destroy 1 face-up spell or trap card on the field, which includes your opponent's side, which is absolutely wonderful, brilliant. This is your out to. There can only be 1. It's the main floodgate that hurts this deck, because they're all side bursts. So it's basically your main out, because not running Mystical Space Typhoon in here, you're not running Twin Twisters, you're not running Heavy Storm Duster, or any other normal back row removal, so this is your out. Then we have, from the structure deck, 3 Salamangreat Fowl, or Fire Peacock, as I like to call it. If a Salamangreat monster or monsters, except for itself, is normal or special summoned except during a damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Salamangreat Fowl once per turn. And then its second effect, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your hand or face up to the field, from the field to the graveyard, then target 1 set spell or trap card your opponent controls, and it cannot be activated this turn. So it does come in handy. Only downside is most spell and traps that are set this at the moment can react to it. But just getting that extra body on board does help go up the ladder. That's it for the 3 ofs. Onto the 2s. We have 2 Raccoon. I've been playtesting this one a little bit, and 2 just seems to be working for me at the moment. When your Salamangreat monster is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target those 2 monsters that would battle. gain life points equal to the attack of the opponent's monster. Also, your targeted monster cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. So, it's pretty good. You're gaining life points, although you will obviously lose a little bit with the battle. You're not losing your monster. When your Salamangreat monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand, and you can only use that effect once per turn. I'm not gonna lie, I like the card. It's recyclable. Obviously, if you use both in one turn, you aren't getting one of them back that turn. You can get one, but not the other, obviously. But it just helps keep your monsters on board, your Salamangreat monsters on board, and help climb the link ladder the next turn. Onto the one-offs. For the Salamangreats, we have Jaguar, Falco, Mole, and Salamangreat Mere. These are all one-offs. They're not as good as the rest. The majority of the deck's level 3, which is what the XEs is. It's a rank 3, so it requires a freeze. Mole's a 1, Mere's a 2, Falco and Jaguar are both 4, so they don't synergize with the deck enough at the moment. When the Firewall XE's monster comes out, then obviously my ratios may change a little bit to include more of the level 4s. But they're there more for your link plays. Salamangreat Mere, if it's added to your hand except by drawing it for your normal draw, you can special summon it. Jaguar inflicts piercing battle damage if it attacks a defense position. What else we got? If you control a Salamangreat link monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Salamangreat monster in your graveyard except for itself. Shuffle that target into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card to your zone that link monster points to. So it can recur itself and help you climb up the ladder. Excuse me. Ooh, long day. So moving me across, Falco. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a Salamangreat spell or trap in your graveyard and set that target to your field. If it's in your graveyard, you can then target one Salamangreat monster you control except for itself, return that target to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. So Falco goes really well with Mere. Send Falco, normal or special out the Mere. With Falco's effect, you then get to set a spell or trap, Salamangreat spell or trap. Use its effect to bounce the Mere back, and then because it's been added back to your hand, you can special summon it again. It does come in handy, and it does come up. Mole is out the new structure deck. During your main phase, if you link summon this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand to a link your link monster points to. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 5 Salamangreat cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and draw 2. So it's a little bit of recursion, and it helps climb up the ladder as well. So that's it for the Salamangreats. Onto the non-Salamangreats that are in the deck, we have 3 Lady Debug, generic Cyber Searcher. That's for anything that's level 3 or lower. This comes in really handy because this can go into your link 1, get you Salamangreat Sanctuary. Oh, that's a mouthful. And then you can use the rest of your cards to carry on. I've chosen to run 3 Widget Kid because it's a special summon. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Cyburst monster from your hand in defense position, and you can only use its effect of Widget Kid once per turn. the whole deck is Cyberse. So this will summon out anything that's in my deck. Hence running it at 3 to help get up that ladder. Also then run 3 backup secretary. It's a 3 normal special summon if you control a Cyberse monster. As I just said, the whole deck's Cyberse, so it does come in really handy, being able to help climb up the ladders. So that's it for the monsters. Quite a high monster count compared to the spells and traps, but that is because it revolves around them so much more. Onto the spells, we have 3 Salamangreat Circle. It's your searcher, one of your search cards. Can either add a Salamangreat monster from deck to hand, or it can target a Salamangreat link monster that you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. That link monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn, except for its own. To be honest, you're only really using it for the first effect to help get like Mole and that to your hand. But there are times when that secondary effect does come up, and it will annoy your opponents when you use its second effect. Next up, we have 2 Will of the Salamangreat, which is the continuous spell. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your hand or graveyard. Straight up. Okay, activate its effect, special summon a Salamangreat. Beautiful. You can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target 1 Salamangreat link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. Special summon Salamangreat monsters from your hand or graveyard, in defense position up to the number of that monster's link rating. You can only use 1 Salamangreat. Will a Salamangreat per turn, effect per turn, and only once that turn. So one of the best plays with this is if you've got Heat Leo out and you use Salamangreat Sanctuary, relink it into another Heat Leo, activate this one's effect, and then with that Heat Leo, because it's link free, you can special summon 3 out from hand or graveyard. So it just helps really push your plays. I then run 2 Fusion of Fire, which is it's basically the polymerization of the deck, and it is searchable. It's always treated as a Salamangreat card, so anything that ditches a Salamangreat card or fetches one back can get this, which is really good. I tried running it at 1, but then as soon as it got stopped, that was it. I couldn't do my fusion play too easily. Running it at 2 just helps that if they do stop the first one, if I've hard drawn it, I can just go straight into the second and still go into my fusion. Then last Salamangreat spell card is Sanctuary. Only need the one. Your link one searches it out. If you hard draw it, it's a little bit of a pain because it is a little bit of a garnet in the deck. So that's almost all for the spells. Got 4 more spells, which is 1 Monster Reborn and 3 Called by the Grave. Ash Blossom is the biggest hand trap problem to this deck. Called by the Grave is just mainly there to negate the Ash Blossom to allow you to continue. It's also pretty good up against other decks that you know recur around a graveyard. If, for instance, you know that you're in a mirror match, you can banish the Spinny, stop them recurring that, and it just leaves games wide open for you. So that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps, we only run the 3, which is 1 Rage and 2 Raw. Raw is your Infernity barrier of the deck, providing that you control a Salamangreat link monster. Allows you to negate the activation of a spell / trap or monster effect. Oh, I do apologise for that. And if you destroy it, when this card is in the graveyard, if a Salamangreat link monster is linked summoned to your field using a monster with its own name, you can set this card from the graveyard but banish it when it leaves the field. So again, the reincarnation summoning through Salamangreat Sanctuary is absolutely insane in this deck. The only downside is you can only do it once per turn, but it's also a plus side because it limits what you can do. So I do like the way that that's balanced. Salamangreat Roar allows you to send either a Salamangreat monster from hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to target one card on the field and destroy it, or target a Salamangreat link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. Destroy cards your opponent controls up to that monster's link rating. So they love the reincarnation link summoning, and the higher you are, the better some of your effects are. So it is a 42 card main deck. To be honest, if I was going to cut it down a little bit, could possibly cut a Fusion Fire, or I might look at taking out one, if not one of each of these. At the moment, the 42 has been working quite nicely, hence leaving it as that. On to the extra deck, we have one Salamangreat Violet Chimera, sorry, two of the fusions. This is your OTK, basically, of the deck. If your opponent's monster is a different attack to its original, this, in the damage calculation, can then double its attack, which helps push the game. When it is fusion summoned, you can make this card gain attack equal to half of the combined attacks of the materials used to summon it. So if you use two 3000 attack monsters, it will gain 3000 until the end of the turn. And then you can imagine that's 5/8, and then if you can get it attack over a monster whose attack's different to its original, that then doubles to 10,000, 11,600 if it's 5/8. So this guy gets big and gets big quick. We run one XEs, which is Salamangreat Mirage Dalio. It helps special summon, that's the main thing. It will summon from the deck and help you climb up the ladders, and it's one of your main combo pieces. Onto links, we have two Salamangreat Heat Leos. You only need to run the two. If you're getting Heat Leo out, then you should hopefully win. If you do somehow manage to lose, you've not gone through some of your combos correctly, from what I've found doing my testing. It's just overall a brilliant card. We do run one link at a playset, which is Sunlight Wolf. This is your spell and trap card recursion from the graveyard if it uses itself as a link material. Just to confirm, if a monster or monsters is normal or special summoned to the zone or zones this card points to, except during the damage step, you can add one fire monster from your graveyard to your hand. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot normal summon or set or special summon monsters with the added monster's name. So you can add an Ash Blossom back and then activate its effect, sending it back to grave, which perfectly doable because you're not normal summoning or setting it or special summoning it. During your main phase, and this is the main effect that Sunlight Wolf will get used for, you can, if you control this card that was link summoned using a Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf as material, you can add one Salamangreat spell or trap card from your graveyard to your hand, and you can only use each effect of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf once per turn. So this helps you get back the Fusion of Fire, Salamangreat Circle, any of that. link ones for the Salamangreats, we have 2 Balinks. This is your Sanctuary Searcher, and all it requires is 1 level 4 or lower Cyburst monster. Nice and easy. We then have 5 non-Salamangreat cards in the extra deck, which are there mainly for combo extensions and setting up. So we have 1 Transcode Talker, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, just to help get rid of the problem cards, 1 Honeybot to help with the linking up, and 1 Flame Administrator, which is these 2 are your generics. Flame Administrator gives you a downwards pointing arrow to be able to go into your XCs and to then be able to carry on going into some of your other cards. Honeybot is brilliant if you can basically have it in between Nightmare and Cerberus, because then everything's protected. With Honeybot, neither player can target monsters this card points to with card effects, and those monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Cerberus stops them being destroyed by card effects. Nightmare Phoenix also stops them from being destroyed by battle. So not only can they not be destroyed by card effects, they then cannot be targeted by card effects, which is brilliant. So basically, Raigeki, if you've got these 3 up, it is possible with the right hands to get all 3 of these up on the field, as they are, because you go Balinks in the extra monster zone here, Cerberus, not Honeybot, Nightmare Phoenix, and if you can do it, another Balinks there, and you extra link your opponent. That's it for my deck profile. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Keep an eye on my Twitch, which I'll also put in the description, which is numberhunter91. Also have Twitter with my handle being at numberhunter91. Keep an eye on that, and that will be where I do most of my updates, and I will see you in my next video.